Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who collection update where we're showing you all the little bits of Doctor Who merchandise I picked up in August, and we've got a great selection of merchandise, if I do say so myself. We've got a bit of everything, I would say. We've got books, we've got Big Finish, we've got figures, Blu-ray, magazines and comics. So I think we've got pretty much all the Doctor Who merchandise areas covered really. So if you like your Doctor Who merchandise and you're new around here, then please do consider hitting the subscribe button for plenty more Doctor Who related content coming up in the near future. And if you like your Doctor Who merchandise, then please do leave a like. So without further ado, let's dive into the collection update. Kicking off this collection update with figures. Yes, we had a surprise B&M figure drop, which I think is the first time that has ever happened with the Doctor Who character options B&M line, but these were spotted in a B&M in York, and then I think a couple of days later we got the press release by character options for these items. So we have History of the Daleks at 21, Eve of the Daleks, and we have the electronic 15th Doctor TARDIS. I've done a review on both of these items, and also I've done a quest video trying to find these as well, so I'll leave a link in the description below to my figure review playlist and a link to the quest video as well if you want to check out that. But yeah, I think that these are really lovely little items. Despite the inaccuracy of gold for the Daleks, I really love it. I think that it's really striking. And the TARDIS is a lovely update from the 13th Doctor one, this lovely shade of blue. And, you know, it being electronic for $19.99, I think it's an absolute bargain. So yeah, I really love this. I believe we're meant to be getting another B&M drop in a couple weeks' time, which is going to be the Revenge of the Cyberman set and the Remembrance of the Dalek set with an Imperial Dalek and Special Weapons Dalek, so that'll be really neat when they appear. So yeah, I wonder if they'll just magically appear on, you know, in the shops, or we'll actually get a press release and we'll have to wait a little bit for them to actually appear in B&M, because that's normally the case. But this is sort of a rare occasion where they've just been seen first before character release, the press release for them. So yeah, great to add these to the collection. Always happy to add figures to the collection. It's great to get more representation for the 13th Doctor on the shelf with these Daleks, and you can't go wrong with another TARDIS, can you? On to the Blu-ray now, and that is of course Doctor Who Season 2 on Steelbook. So yeah, this is a really lovely Steelbook. I really like the artwork by Sophie Caldry with sort of the Bone Palace and the sort of cosmos background, the 15th Doctor and Belinda. That's the side. And then there is the back. I did an unboxing video, so if you want to load the presentation for the release, and check out that video. But yeah, Season 2, not one of my favourite series of Doctor Who, but this is the wonderful thing about, you know, Doctor Who, that we can always reevaluate, reappraise, you know, things we're not too keen on, because, you know, we Doctor Who fans, we like to suffer. We watch Time Lash 20 times just to make sure that we don't like it, don't we? But yeah, I think with Season 2, I really liked the journey of the series. I just wasn't keen on the final destination where we ended up with it. But yeah, I think that there's some real strong episodes within it, like The Well, Lux. Yeah, it's really pushing the show in some nice creative ways. I really enjoyed the barbershop story. But yeah, like I say, it's let down by the finale. It sort of muddies it, isn't it, really? But yeah, that is the Season 2 Steelbook. The 15th Doctor merch doesn't just stop at the Season 2 Steelbook. We have this, the 15th Doctor's first graphic novel collection, which is Doctor Who The Monster Makers. Now this is the Panini website exclusive cover variant, which is limited to 350 copies. I believe that it's still in stock, so if you want to get this cover variant, then you can, because the standard cover art is this. So yeah, still very bright and colourful, but I love this because this is a homage to the Doctor Who monster book from I think the late sort of mid-70s with Tom Baker. So this is sort of a nice sort of homage with the 15th Doctor, which is pretty neat. So this, like I said, is the sort of 15th Doctor's first collection of stories from Doctor Who magazine, but it also does have the 14th Doctor's little comic strip from sort of the in between sort of the Star Beast and the Wild Blue Yonder. So yeah, when the TARDIS is sort of out of control, so that's really neat. And I love these sort of Panini graphic novels because they've got this nice sort of commentary, sort of behind the scenes making of the sort of comics themselves. So yeah, it's really lovely stuff, and yeah, great addition. And now my Doctor Who graphic novel collection is all up to date in terms of the Doctor Who magazines sort of comics. So yeah, really nice to add that to the collection. There's the spine, and I really love that sort of retro cover. So yeah, really lovely. Continuing the Doctor Who magazine theme, I normally pick up Doctor Who magazine, but I just don't normally show them in these sort of collection updates unless it's a Chronicle or one of these magazines, which is a special edition. Now this is looking at season 13, or mainly sort of the Hinchcliffe years of the show, looking at Gothic horror, what Gothic horror means to Doctor Who. It's a really insightful magazine. I've only read about 25 pages so far, and I'm really loving it. So this is what you essentially get in the magazine. So you get a little guide to a little free gift, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So it's talking about how Gothic horror complements Doctor Who, what is Gothic horror, and why it just works alongside Doctor Who brilliantly, and sort of looking at sort of the horror aspects of Doctor Who, not only the Hinchcliffe years, but of the new series, sort of the Loch Ness Monster, about restoring the Scarrison prop. So there we have a little side-by-side of the original and the new updated Scarrison there for the special edition version of that for the Blu-ray. And then this is quite an interesting feature, which is talking about sort of the horror influences on certain season 13 stories, which is quite fascinating, and how sort of the production team might have been inspired when these films are were sort of repeated or shown on TV around sort of a similar time. These stories might have been going into production. So Pyramids of Mars, we have The Mummy, Brain of Morbius, The Evil of Frankenstein, and Donovan's Brain, Seeds of Doom, The Thing from Another World, Mask of Mandragora, sort of The Mask of Red Death. So it's sort of looking at sort of how it sort of magpies ideas from those horror films and puts a Doctor Who spin on them, which is really quite an interesting little feature. Then we have a little bit about the Terror of the Zygon sort of update, and this is mainly talking about season 13. Sutek making Sutek there, which is pretty cool. We've got his little, I guess, Weetabix style comics, and then we've got a little bit about sort of the people living in sort of where Android Invasion was filmed, and then sort of looking at sort of the people behind the masks of the Hinchcliffe years there, Christopher Barry. And yeah, it's just a really lovely little magazine talking about sort of the first bits of Doctor Who on audio there. So yeah, really lovely. Of course, you've got to talk about Robert Holmes, haven't you? So that's really cool. And there's a nice little bonus story written by Louise Jameson within this magazine, which is great. And of course, Mary Whitehouse, sort of looking whether she was right all along. And there we have a little story by Louise Jameson. So that's really cool. And it does come with a little free gift, which is a CD with a little preview of Doctor and the Loch Ness Monster, and there's what else is included. It just has little excerpts from various other stories. So again, really nice little pickup. I think it's $10.99, and I think for that really is a real good bargain. So yeah, I really love this magazine, and I just love on to books now. Now we have 8 books to show from various Doctor Who ranges. We've got Virgin Misadventures, PDAs, and EDAs. Now this is a monumental collection update, because after 9 years I have finally completed the Virgin Missing Adventures, and the final Virgin Missing Adventure I needed to complete the collection was the Crystal Bucephalus, featuring the 5th Doctor, Tegan, Turlough and Chameleon. This is, I believe, the first book by Craig Hinton. I want to say, I could be wrong, but in my head I feel like this is the first Craig Hinton book, which he's quite a continuity heavy writer. He's very much a writer for the fans. So yeah, very happy to add this to the collection and to complete the Virgin Missing Adventures. You know, it's really satisfying. But yeah, this story sounds a bit like the Big Finish story of the Serpent and the Silver Mask. It sounds like very much like a Big Finish type of 5th Doctor story, so I look forward to giving that a read. I believe that it's sort of meant to explain the change in TARDIS console room for the 5 Doctors, which I think Big Finish did in Chameleon Empire as well. So yeah, something about Chameleon and changing the TARDIS console is a thing. So yeah, really looking forward to giving that a read. But yeah, very satisfying to finally complete the Missing Adventures. Then we have some PDAs. We have a book by Stephen Lyons, The Final Sanction, which I believe follows on from the Murder Games. This is a season 6 book, and it's putting this season 6 TARDIS crew in the middle of a war zone. And yeah, I think this has a very interesting chapter told from the POV of a Salatian soldier, these sort of big shark creatures. Steve Lyons, great writer, so I can't wait to read this because I think this will be wonderful. Read. The other PDA we have is The Algebra of Ice by Lloyd Rose. This features the 7th Doctor, Ace, and the Brigadier. Yeah, I think Lloyd Rose is a wonderful writer. She has written some wonderful EDAs like The City of the Dead, Camera Obscura, and I believe that this is sort of Lloyd Rose's sort of tribute to the Virgin New Adventures. So yeah, I look forward to giving that a read. 7th Doctor and Brigadier, you can't really go wrong. We have another 7th Doctor book by Mike Tucker and Robert Perry, which is Loving the Alien, which I believe ties back to Illegal Alien with a character that features within this. And this sounds quite a dark book because we have Ace is dead and we have the 7th Doctor trying to stop the killer of it and find out sort of the murder of it behind it. So yeah, it seems quite a dark one and quite a rough story. And I feel like this is sort of Mike Tucker and Rob Perry did sort of their own little mini 7th Doctor season with Illegal Alien, Prime Time, I think Heritage as well, and Loving the Alien, I think. Yeah, I think they did their own sort of 7th Doctor little mini series within the PDA range. So yeah, very happy to add that to the collection because I think it's one of the sort of sought after PDAs, because I think the later PDAs and EDAs, they had a lower print run, so they go for a little bit more money than your typical PDA book. Not like crazy level like the Virgin New Adventures, like Lung Barrel or Dying Day sort of price, but you know, they're a bit more pricier compared to your standard PDA price. So we have some EDAs now, and this is part of the sort of Doctor Who amnesia arc where the 8th Doctor's lost his memory, which seems to be quite a big thing in the EDAs, because the first book we have him sort of collecting his memories from other Doctors, and then we have him sort of on Earth for I think like 100 years, and we have I think the second story in part of that sort of arc within the EDAs, which is Casualties of War, which is, you know, the 8th Doctor in World War One, and that just sounds like a really interesting idea from the blurb. This story just sort of fascinates me, so I can't wait to give it a read, because I'm missing one story from this sort of arc within the EDAs. So we have the following book from that sort of set, which is Endgame by Terrance Dicks, featuring the Players. I think that this is I want to say that this is the last part of it. The Players sort of continues in sort of obviously the Players and World Game, but I think, yeah, I want to say that this is sort of the end of it, but it could be the middle part now in it. I've not quite researched it, but I know it sort of links back to those books. I have read World Game, and that was a pretty solid take on Season 6B by Terrance Dicks. So yeah, Terrance Dicks, good old faithful writer. Then the penultimate EDA I'm going to show in this collection update is, quite frankly, has the most bizarre, the most jazziest cover than any other Doctor Who book I have owned, and it is this, the 100th BBC Doctor Who novel, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Look at that, we've got a poodle with a cigarette, a ray gun and hands. Crazy. Paul Mars, what a wonderful writer. I really love his style of writing. Verdigris is such a fantastic book, and yeah, this, I've heard only but good things about this book, but it sort of has sort of a J.R. Tolkien type character within it, sort of looking at sort of literacy characters within it in this sort of mad world, and yeah, I'm really excited because I've only heard mad and brilliant things about it, so I can't wait to experience that. And then we have one of the final EDAs in the EDA range, and that is To the Slaughter by Stephen Cole. Really nice cover with sort of this sort of cosmos on fire, and they've got the TARDIS flying off there. Yeah, so yeah, very nice. Again, one of the later EDAs, so kind of a sought after EDA to get in the collection, but yeah, great addition to have in the collection. So that is the books. On to the final part of this collection update, and that is of course Big Finish. Now, I've only listened to one Big Finish release from the August 2025 catalogue, which I'm sure you can all guess which one that is. So if you're looking for opinions on these releases, don't worry, I'll probably cover them in a future video in reviews. But the first Big Finish is of course Master Dark Gallifrey Part 2. Yeah, very interested to sort of see where this story goes, to see how Paul McGann fits in within this, whether Paul McGann is the cliffhanger for this release, who knows. But yeah, I'll probably wait for Part 3 to drop for when to listen to Part 2 and then sort of binge listen to that, because I think the Eric Roberts sort of trilogy would definitely benefit sort of the binge listen approach, I would feel, with what's going on. And then we have a sale Big Finish item, which I think will shock a few people. I'm shocked that I have this. Lady Christina. Yeah, Big Finish had this on sale, and if you have followed the live streams on the channel for Big Finish fans, you'll know that this has sort of been a bit of a joke. That me and Luke said if one of our live streams gets 50 likes, we'll review Lady Christina. And it was on sale, and we are people of our word, me and Luke, so we're going to review Lady Christina. And yeah, I mean, Lady Christina, it's a bit of a meme amongst people, you know, that it's sort of, people say it's a spin-off too far. We'll see, because I've heard only but good things about it. I was really shocked when it arrived in the post. I was like, what's this? Because it's a chunky box set. It's 4 CDs. So yeah, I have Lady Christina Series 1. So there'll hopefully be a live stream reviewing Lady Christina. So stay tuned for that, because I'm sure that will be quite an entertaining watch, I assume. And I'm really intrigued to know whether it's good, because I know the theme tune is really good. It's got a really good theme tune. Continuing sort of a spin-off theme, we have the Death and Life of River Song, The Dissolution of Time, where we see River Song stuck in Tudor England. This sounds like a really good little box set. Roshana Patel wrote the Dark Gallifrey Missy series, which got very good reviews, so I'm sure that this is going to be really good, because I love it when writers just, you know, have, you know, 3 hours in a sandbox to write their story and tell it. And yeah, I'm really a fan of long form storytelling, so yeah, very excited to give that a listen at some point. Then we have good old Sixie himself in Bad Terms with the continuation of the old Perry stuff. We have a wonderful story, what I've heard, by Nev Fountain, which has a little fun Doctor Who reference to a certain villain. I believe that this has some great sort of cliffhangers. This has sort of a cliffhanger ending into the next Sixth Doctor set, so I don't know where that goes within it, but that looks like it has sort of the Fifth Doctor celery. That looks like the Third Doctor's ring, and we have some jelly babies. I've not listened to this set, so I'm really interested to see what this is like, because, you know, it's written by Nev Fountain, the second story, Red for Danger, and Nev Fountain is such a good writer. I love Nev Fountain. Of course, we do have a sort of pirate story as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to give this a listen. I really do like the cover art for this, and the main Big Finish release for August. For people of my generation, this is such a big deal. It's the Ninth Doctor and Rose on Big Finish. It's Snare by Tim Foley. Me and Luke have done a review on this story, so if you want to check out our thoughts on it, check out that review, because it's a very simple story. It's very much character first, plot second, and it really fits into the kitchen sink drama of Series 1, and it feels like we're doing something very interesting with the Ninth Doctor and Rose on Big Finish, because it seems like we're doing sort of a trilogy, as it were, sort of centred around the Powell estate, because the Ninth Doctor, he's very much a grounded Doctor. All his stories are based on Earth or just above Earth, with, you know, like Satellite 5 and Platform 1. So yeah, he's very much a bit like the Third Doctor in these sort of very Earth-based Doctor in a way. So yeah, very strong start for the Ninth Doctor and Rose, and yeah, it was just made my inner 7-year-old very happy, because these two was what got me into Doctor Who. So yeah, it's a delight to have new stories featuring that, because I just could only dream of having, you know, Chris Eccleston and Billy Piper on Big Finish, and it's physical. Here it is. It's wonderful. So yeah, great start. Very excited to see where we go with the Ninth Doctor and Rose on Big Finish. That concludes the Doctor Who collection update for August 2025. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please do like and subscribe for plenty more Doctor related content coming up in the near future. And there we have it. That is the collection update, all done and dusted. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.